Okay, in today's video, we're gonna make it look like little poofs of smoke coming out of a tailpipe of an old-timey car. But first off, I'd like to thank you for supporting my YouTube channel and my Instagram, commenting on my videos, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. So the tools I'm using today are OpenToonz 1.7.1. I have a 22 HD Wacom Cintiq and a G13 gaming pad that I use for all my hotkeys. So let's go ahead and create a new column, and we're going to make this a Toonz raster level, and we'll call this car. This will be the main body of the car. And let's create a new brush, and we'll get our pencil brush down here, and I'm just going to use this pencil brush throughout the whole animation and just keep it loose and rough, and you can go back and clean it up later. So this car is going to have some wheels, and you could do these on separate columns if you want to animate them separately. I'm just going to have everything right now on one column, and this is Henry's little car that he built, and he sits up on this little box up here like this, and he's got like a little engine back here, and the engine has a little tailpipe. Okay, and we'll just do some, maybe you see some of the wheels back there, and maybe, I don't know, maybe he strapped on a light so you can see at night. Let's go ahead and draw Henry in here. Let's just get his little feet dangling, and he wears these high-waisted pants. And there was an old Pink Panther show from 1964, and there's a character called Big Nose, and that's what Henry was inspired from. He's got this just big nose as part of his head, and he's just kind of got this lazy attitudes. He's got a little hat, and he's got like 3 wisps of hair. Okay. Oh, you know what? This arm is the back arm, and this one, I forgot, it controls a braking mechanism right here. It's like this lever. Okay, it's got a little pivot. Okay, so this is Henry, his little car. And so let's pull this down to frame 24. And let's set our marker intervals to 8. Okay, and let's name this column C for car. And it's really important to label your columns, especially when you start getting a lot of them. This way you can stay organized. It's just best to do it as you go along. So let's create another column, and we'll call this smoke. Okay, this will be the smoke coming out of the tailpipe. And let's lock the car layer. And on the smoke layer, let's get our pencil brush. And we're just going to make one poofy cloud of smoke. Okay, we're just going to rough it in like that. Okay, so now let's go in and hold the smoke down for 24 frames. And we are going to nest this column into a Sub-XSheet. Okay, so let's name this real quick. Smoke 01. And there's a couple of ways to do this. I have a shortcut key on my XSheet toolbar up here, but you can also come up here to XSheet collapse, or you can right click the column and collapse. Do you see how it changed colors and it says sub right here? So this means it's a Sub-XSheet. So let's call this SM for smoke. You can think of it like a can of Pringles, right? This is the container. This is the can of Pringles, and inside here are all the chips. So what we want to do is go inside this Sub-XSheet. So again, I have a shortcut on my toolbar, and I have a video on how to set this up, this toolbar up here. But basically, I'm going to open the Sub-XSheet, and I'm going to pull this over just a little so you can see all of my shortcuts. Okay, so now we're inside the smoke Sub-XSheet. Okay, so now we can create more smoke columns. So let's go ahead and call this SM2, and let's pull this down to 24 frames, and we could do another one. Let's name it SM2, And then we could do another one. Let's say SM3. So you can have as many as you want in here. And you can even have Sub-XSheets inside here, which is really cool. SM3. Let's pull that down. And so we're just going to start with smoke 1. Okay. And if I toggle it, you can't see the smoke. Oh, and if you can't see your car drawing, if you can't see your main drawing that you did, you might need to make sure toggle edit and place is on, and then you can see everything on your main stage. So let's go in here to the animate tool and go to center, and we're going to move this little center to the middle of the poof cloud. Okay. Now what we're going to do is get the animate tool, and we're going to go to scale, and we're going to scale this down so we can go to global and do 0.01, and then we can move it right to the where it's going to come out of the tailpipe. Okay, and you see up here on your column it creates a little key. Okay, so now if we come down here, let's say frame 9, we can animate it, scale it back up, and we can move it out where we want it to shoot out, poof. And we could even rotate it. And let's go back here and make sure there's some rotation keys set on that. And if I go frame by frame, you see it come out to frame 9. Okay. And then we're going to have it drift up to frame 17, and it's still going to spin like this. And it's going to come up. We're going to set a key for the scale. Okay. So if I scrub through, that's what it looks like. And then we're just going to have it at frame 19. It's just going to disappear. So 0.01 on scale. And we can go ahead and move it up a little more, because as it disappears, we want it to float up. And we're going to rotate it again. Okay. So let's hit play. Poof. Okay, so that's the idea. So if we close this Sub-XSheet, it takes us back to our main canvas, right? The main stage. And if we hit play, we see it. So now we want to get the Sub-XSheet, the smoke, to follow Henry and his little car. So let's unlock Henry's car column and reset his center to down here below the car. So now let's go down a few frames and just move Henry and the car. And see how the little smoke doesn't follow? We want it to follow the car. Up here you see some tabs, and these are the rooms in OpenToonz. So we want to go to the schematic room. Okay, so now we want to link the Sub-XSheet to the car. So wherever the car goes, the smoke will follow. Okay, and if you have where it says AB, you can come down here to the bottom right and click this little button, switch output port display mode, and you'll just see these little dots, and you can just click this little dot and drag it to this one, and it will make it a child of the car. And if we come back, you can always do it from B to B like this. Okay. Let's go back to Tony's room. So now, if we go to the car and we move the car, the smoke follows. Okay. So let's go back inside the smoke column. So I'm going to open Sub-XSheet, and you see this is our smoke. All three of our smoke columns in here. Okay. So I'm just going to go to smoke 2. I'm going to lock smoke 1. And I'm going to come in here. Okay, and for this smoke, let's draw another little poofy cloud. And you could copy the other one you did and paste it in a new column, or you could copy the drawing and paste it to this drawing. I'm just going to redraw it real quick. And let's get the animate tool and center it. And I'm just doing the exact same thing I did before. I'm just gonna play with the timing a little bit. Okay, so like on this one, if we come down here, like maybe right here, it is still in, oh, let's change it up here, 0.01. So it is still inside the tailpipe. Okay, and then maybe right here is where it comes out of the tailpipe. And let's change the scale back to 100. Okay, and let's rotate it. And let's come up here and make sure rotation is on that. Okay, so it's rotating out and it's going to drift up just like the other one did. And maybe it gets bigger, and then poof, right here, it disappears on frame 23. Let's 0.01 and position it and rotate it. Okay, so let's see how that feels. Poof, 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 poof. Okay, so that's the idea. And do you see how the smoke is in front of the tailpipe? So let's get out of here, close Sub-XSheet, and move the smoke behind the car. So now when it comes out, it's gonna be behind the tailpipe, okay? Anything you put to the left will be on the bottom layer, basically. So let's go back in here to open Sub-XSheet and do one more smoke poof. Okay, so that's our little poofy smoke coming out of the car. So now we can close this Sub-XSheet and come back here to the car, and we can animate the car. So let's go to position and just kind of wiggle him around and set a key. And you can come down here and set a key too if you don't feel like moving him. And then he's gonna sit here and then set a key. And then he's gonna kind of go back like this. And then he's gonna go off screen over here. Okay, so let's hit play. Oh boy, he really races off. Okay, so let's create a little more time in here. So let's lock the Sub-XSheet and come in here. This is where I want to add more time. So I'm going to hit insert frame. It's going to push these keys down, which will slow down the car. There we go. And for the Sub-XSheet, what I want to do is I'm going to select all of these keys and pull this little handle down. And you see how it's red? Okay, so we want this to repeat. So let's go 1, 2, 3. And now let's grab these 3 and pull it down. And you see how it repeats like that? Okay. There we go. So I hope you had fun with this little tutorial. Get out there, start scribbling. Happy animating. And until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.